All right, believers, I am not a tutorial guy, but I'm going to try to show you as best I can real quick using Gimp exactly how to create layers and to basically make your own NFTs. And I'm going to start with some pre-made and pre-rendered stuff. So what you see here is just going to be what I created so far when I did my own NFTs, and I made them with a program. It's called the Hashlips Art Engine. And as you can see right here, when I'm digging in, I've got this right here as folders. Now, in these folders is my main. And I want to show you what the first main is. You can see it right here. So the first main on the NFTs that I made is a picture of yours truly. From here, what I did was I created a new hair color scheme. I created some more designs, and I did it very simply. So I want to do the hair with you very quickly so that you can see how I'm doing this. And what I did was very simple. I went to the tools. Now, by the way, I don't need to worry too much about some of this stuff because I'm creating it as a new layer. That's what we're looking to do, is create this new layer. So I'm going to go to my selection tool and I'm going to go to free select. Now, this is already transparent. I've already made it a transparent thing. So what I'm doing is I'm basically zooming in just a little bit because I want to get a look at the hairline. And if you say anything about that spot where I missed my hairline, we're going to have a problem. So we're going to cut this right here. And it doesn't really matter because you're going to make your NFT, it's really just going to match up right along here. So what you want to do is I'm avoiding skin. Just kind of moving around, and I'm clicking on these little spots as I move through here, and I'm just avoiding the skin. Just avoiding skin. That's all I'm doing. Now I'm going to zoom out and move around just a little bit here, and you can see that I've cut that hairline. So now I'm just going to go click over here, down here, over here, and I'm going to go here and I'm going to find that circle where my clicking started right there. Now, what I've done is I have covered this whole thing to where my face is no longer going to be part of this. And the way that I'm going to do this is, and always check here, make sure that you check your layer, make sure that it's transparent, and make sure that you've had add alpha channel. If it doesn't allow you to click add alpha channel, then it's already done and you're good to go. So what I've done is I've highlighted all of this. Now I'm going to go over to edit and I'm going to hit clear. Now all I have is some hair. That's all that's left on this. So what I'm going to do is now I want to export it. And this is my base layer of hair. So instead of, and I'm going to trade this into a different folder here, but we're going to call it NFT assets, and we're going to just throw it back here. So we have to name it something. It's in the hair over here, by the way. So we're going to do something totally different here. We're going to call it hair. All right, now, once I've done this, now I'm going to unselect because now I want that whole layer. Now I'm responsible for that whole layer again. Now, this is important when you're doing this. When you highlight something, you are now working within that little section that you created. So always select none when you're done. Now we're going to use really some hue saturation. And if you notice here, I can change the colors of this just a little bit. So let's say, here's what we want to do. We want to turn it into purplish pink hair. So all I'm doing is I'm using hue saturation to change the color scheme just a little bit. Just a little bit. We're going to move it around. You can change it to different things. We're going to give it some intensity here. The saturation is deep. Now I've got bright pink hair. So I'm going to click OK. And again, I'm going to export it. You notice that I saved it as hair. This one I'm going to save as pinkish hair. And I'm going to export it. What I've done is I've created, and I'm going to close this so that we know and you can see it as we start again. So what I've done is I just created pink hair by cutting out all the parts except for the hair. And because I used the original document, everything is going to be the original size. Now, I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to open recent and I'm going to open Believes because that is the picture of me, the glorious picture of me. And now you can see here my hair is still brown, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to File, and I'm going to go to Open as Layers, and I'm going to hit NFT Assets where I saved the pink hair. And I'm going to throw the pink hair back onto this picture, and now my hair has turned pink. So if you go back to the Edit and undo the open layer, and I'm going to close that layer. Now remember, this is just a layer on top of my picture, so we're going to undo that. My hair is back to brown again. Now, the way that this works is very simple. Every time you want to do something that is a different color, then you just add it in. Now over here, these are your layers. So the first thing that we want when we've got our main body, and you only want one main body, generally speaking. You might have another one with a mouth open, or you can take away something, or you can change maybe eye color if you want it to be static, or you can change the eye color in a random pattern. But we're going to open as layers, and now at this point I'm going to go into my backgrounds. And we want to have let's say a yellow background, and there's a preview right here that you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the yellow background, open it up. Now you see my picture has disappeared, and all we're doing is dealing with the background. But it's because this layer over here on the right that we see right over here, it goes from top to bottom. So I'm going to take Believes, I'm going to put it up here, and now I have a yellow background. Now, if you remember, I did my hair. So we're going to open as layers. Always remember to open as layers as you're doing this. And we're going to go up one because we want to see our folders again. We did our hair and we did pinkish hair. So now I'm going to click on the pinkish hair and we're going to open it. So now we're back here and I have pinkish hair inside this. So we're going to add a little bit more because I created more layers as I went. And there's something random here. So what's random? Let's say that we're going with Saitama. So what I did is I created a layer with Saitama on it, and now we're going to click open, and now Saitama is in the corner over there. But what if I don't like the shirt because I made the shirt an additional layer? And if you notice over here, it does not matter as long as there's no overlap, and you get to decide in the image how it looks, but there's no overlap over here. So we're going to open as a layer. We're going to go back up into NF Assets, and we're going to hit Shirts right here. There are an aqua shirt, a pink shirt, a green shirt, a blue shirt, and a red shirt. So let's have a red shirt because go cards, and we're going to click open. And now we've basically changed my shirt to red. So now we've absolutely created a list of layers that you can now use to make different colored NFTs. And you've done it by layer. And the reason that you would do this for later when you're making an NFT is very simple. There's a random generator online called Hashlips that you can use that will allow you to randomly generate different colors. And if you have not seen my NFT collection, then let's take a quick look over here. And this is just launched, the Believes OG NFT collection. And you will see here that all I did was randomly generate these NFTs. Some of them have what tokens I talk about. Some of them don't have tokens, like this one right here, but it's got eyes because I took a rare and I made a rare overlay of eyes. And just in case anybody is curious about that, open as layers. I made random, and if you see here, it says Floki eyes because that was where the character inspiration came from, was from Floki. And if you're wondering about the numbers in here, you can see that. That's going to be a Hashlips thing. Hashlips is what generates these probabilities. And if you see, I put the numbers. If you have the highest number up here, that's the most frequent occurring. Number 9 is also frequently occurring. Then when you go down here, number 7 is occurring far less frequently because it's a high number. The lower the number, the more frequently it's going to post. So if you see here, there's 5 on Shinobi, 5 on Volt, 5 on Saitama, 5 on Floki, and then number 2, That's for Floki Eyes. Now, I only uploaded 20 when I did this, and there was no mathematical reasoning for that applied to the situation. There were actually 700 NFTs that printed. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this makes it simple for you. One other thing is, if you want to add anything in as a layer, let's do one final piece, and I'm going to go into something here, and I'm just going to give you a random image, and let's say it's going to be a Russian hat. So we're going to open a Russian hat in this image, and you see the image is too big. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use our tool, and we're going to transform it, and we're going to scale it down. We're going to make that hat a lot smaller. So as you can see already, it's gotten a lot smaller. Now, one thing to deal with when you're adding stuff in like this is my hair goes straight up. So we're going to try to put this on my head, and we're going to be using a few tools. It's very simple. We're going to rotate it because my head's cocked a little bit. So we'll turn this a little bit. Now it's turned. Now we're going to move it. And if for any reason you move a layer that's not being asked, it's because you've got it clicked over here. So make sure you're on the Russian hat, and let's move it up. It's not perfect there. I'm going to have to increase the size of it just a little bit. But as you can see here, now I'm wearing a Russian hat, and you can just add that in just like that. Now, if you're trying to generate an NFT off of this Russian hat, it will not work. The reason it will not work is because the size of this is all messed up. As you can see here, you've got a baseline around it, and I hope you see this. That baseline right there tells me that if I move this, it's going to go into the center, and we're just going to cover my face. So once I've got the hat where I want it, and we'll assume that that's the spot right there, then we're going to go over here, and we're going to right-click Russia hat, and we're going to look for this right here, layer to image size. We're going to click this, and now I've reordered the image, so now the image is working within the previous images that I have, and they're all set up the same size. Okay? Now, I'm going to take, if I want to save this, by the way, and you don't want to do this with as many layers as I've done, but we're going to delete this layer, we're going to delete me, we're going to delete, and we're going to delete the back. Now, all I have left is the Russian hat, but it's in the right position for me to do an NFT layer. So now I'm going to go here, I'm going to file export, and I'm going to export this. And again, I'm just using this over here, but I'm going to export that as Russia hat. And now the Russian hat, when I import it again, if you remember when I did this, everything was all messed up. It was skewered to the side. It wasn't looking right. So we're going to open recent. We're going to open Bleaves again. So now you got a picture of me. You're welcome. One more time. And now we're going to put the Russian hat back on. So we're going to open as layer. And we're going to do not this Russian hat, but the one that we saved. We saved the Russia hat right here. Click on it. And bam. Now it's on the top of my head. And I look like a good old-fashioned Rushki. Also, with this, you might want to look at some of your tools and play with these so that you understand. But there's a 3D transform tool where you can move it around so that it fits, so that it looks like it fits your head just a little bit better. Do what you got to do. The purpose of art and the purpose of all of this stuff is to manipulate the image so that it looks like what you want it to look like, not because you have some kind of rigid structure. If you ever watch old videos of how graphics or effects are made for movies or anything like that, there is no rigid system. There's only computers, programs, or stop motion, or models. They are doing whatever it takes to give it the look and the feel of what it is that you want it to be. So, guys, I hope this explained a little bit to you. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. If you think I just screwed this completely up, let me know again, and we'll try to do it a little bit better the next time. This was not financial advice, but I was always right.
I'm looking for the good life, sitting on top of the world. I wanna be shining like diamonds and pearls. I want you to go.